You're listening to The Drive on the Voice of Niagara, News Talk 610 CKTB.
You're listening to Bonnie Heslop.
Hope you're having a great afternoon. It is 5:11 here on The Drive. I'm Bonnie Heslop. I am your Thursday afternoon host. Tomorrow we're back with John Gonzo, so he will be back in this chair. And stay with us. And of course, Steph Vivier hosting the morning show, Niagara in the Morning, starting tomorrow morning. I want to bring you a story that is centered in Wainfleet. So we have a concerned homeowner that's going to be joining us. He's speaking out about some issues that he's having with the township over short-term rentals. That is a hot issue in Niagara, as we are such a great tourist location. So Scott Wilson is the spokesperson for the Wainfleet Association of Responsible Short-Term Rentals, and he joins us now. Scott, I watched your video. It was a great production, and it kind of explained your whole situation, but now you have to explain it to us all over again.
Sure, thank you. And that video just went out yesterday, and it actually broke 1,000 views. So it seems a lot of people are interested in this story. And, you know, when I tell it to people, they can't believe it. When I told it to my family, they said, no, this couldn't be true. My own family couldn't believe it was true. And yet here it's happening in Canada.
Okay, so you own a home in Wainfleet, or a cottage, or both?
Yes, exactly. So 3 years ago, we bought a lakefront cottage in Wainfleet. I lived in Burlington. My wife and I were both born in Burlington, went to high school together. We raised 4 children in Burlington. And we were using it as a cottage, and we would rent it out here and there when we weren't using it, just to help, pay the property taxes and to help, with bills and things like that. Lots of cottage owners do that. It makes sense. And in fact, our premier, Doug Ford, there's been some articles out. He actually rents his cottage out on Airbnb, on weekends that he's not using it. So this is a common thing, and that's what we were doing. But we loved the area so much, and just the relaxed atmosphere, the water, the peacefulness, that we decided to stop commuting as a cottage and live there permanently. It's now our home. We moved in May.
All right. So you move in May. When does the trouble start for you?
So, what happened is, as we were preparing to move in, we got a notice from the city saying that essentially they were wanting everyone to get short-term rental licenses. And the process to get a license was hugely extreme. The license actually limited you to 6 people. And so since we were moving there full time, I didn't want to go through all of the work and effort to get that license, because we were going to live there permanently. But we had 5 rentals that had been pre-booked from predating the bylaw coming into effect. And so I thought, okay, this shouldn't be a problem. I'll just explain to the city that that what's happening, that we're moving here, that we're not going to be renting it out short-term after these contracts are honored. And, maybe we can work something out where I can just get a really short-term license or pay some type of fee. I just figured the city would be reasonable to talk to and would work something out for my situation. And it's funny, I'm the spokesperson for the Wainfleet Association of Responsible Short-Term Renters, and we live there permanently and don't rent anymore. So it's kind of funny that that's happened. Basically when I went to the city, their response to my emails was, "You've admitted guilt." And so I went in to talk to them. I'm still kind of in shock what happened, but they started fining me and my family.
So the fines started arriving by mail?
Yeah, so the fines they started arriving by registered mail because, we're an honest family. So I disclosed the rentals that I had, the contracts that I had, and the dates. And the other thing that I disclosed is that we were over more than 6 people, which the new bylaw limits you to. So we have two houses. There's a main house and a guest house in the lake, and we sleep about 25 people, which is one of the attractions to why the house was, popular and we were able to rent it because there's not a lot of places that, can sleep that many people. And we would get, several families coming together. I mean, we rented it to one family that unfortunately was there for a funeral. They had a relative in that area, and the family wanted to stay together. And so I basically disclosed all this to the city in hopes that, we could work something out. And I gave them the dates and everything, and they just started sending me registered mail. And the crazy thing is the fine for the first one is $10,000 per owner per dwelling per day. Well, my wife and I, of course, we're on title, and there's 2 houses on the property. And so basically the fine is, $10,000 per owner per dwelling per day. That's $40,000 per day. And then the fines go up for each offense by $5,000. So the next fine is basically $15,000 per owner per dwelling per day. So that's 60, and the next one's 80 and 100 and 120. When I did the math, if this goes on for a year, I think I'm at something like $43,700,000 in fines. And this may sound like a ridiculous joke, but it's actually quite serious. One of the city employees I talked to said, well, if you don't pay the fines, we're going to seize your house. We're going to start by migrating everything to your property tax bill, and we're going to take your home. And the person was quite flippant and rude about it. And the registered mail they send me says that the fines accumulate daily. Now, the actual physical fines they've sent me, they haven't sent me registered mail for the daily accumulation of the fines. But my lawyer said, listen, Scott, you could pay the fine, and then they basically send you a bill for all of the additional days, because the bylaw says it's per owner, per dwelling, per day. And so, I'm in a really bad situation here, and they actually have migrated huge amounts of the fines to my property tax bill already, and they're in the process of seizing my house. My wife and I are both 52 years old, and we've worked our whole lives to retire in this house, and at the end of the day, the city's trying to take it from us, and it doesn't seem fair. It's shocking and unbelievable what they've done to me, but it's not just me. They've done it to everybody who's trying to do short-term rentals in Wainfleet.
Okay, so I guess my first question is, if you paid the application fee for the short-term rental, which would have been, what, $1,000?
To be honest, I can't remember what they were, but the fees the fees were per dwelling. But the thing is, there wasn't enough time from when I got the notice and found out about the bylaw, because you had to have fire inspection, you had to have septic inspections. There was like just a huge list, and I would have been fine. In fact, I went in and right when this first started, I offered a settlement to the city, and I thought they were going to take it. Like they seemed like the person I spoke with seemed reasonable, but they came back and said that no, they weren't able to do that. Like I was willing to work with the city, but unfortunately, from when I found out about the bylaw to the time that I had these existing contracts in place, there was no time to actually even apply and get the permits.
All right. So where are you now in this whole process? Are you looking at legal action? Are you looking at, trying to settle again? What are you going to do?
Well, unfortunately, we had to take legal action. So the Wainfleet Association of Responsible Short-Term Rentals, and the URL is Wainfleet Wars. It's just the way the acronyms worked out. I guess we are kind of at war with the city, which I don't really, I'd rather de-escalate than escalate. So I'm not so sure I like the name that much. Some people really like it. But at the end of the day, we've got 8 people who've joined the lawsuit. We filed the lawsuit in July of this year against the township because our law firm has said they made a whole pile of legal errors. There's all sorts of illegality in these bylaws. Some wonder if they even had a lawyer even look at it before creating these bylaws. So we do feel the city's at risk. The problem is litigation like this can take many, many years, and we've been informed that the cost for this litigation is going to be in excess of $100,000. So it's really not fair that myself and these other families have to go through it. And the other thing is, part of the reason we're having trouble recruiting some other people is that we're not the only group of people who've gotten lawyers. There's other groups. And so it's kind of hard because how do you get them all together if they've already given another law firm a deposit and so forth? But really, we need to find a way to consolidate. Everybody's got to be rowing together, working together, and coming together. And I'm sure there's a way for us to consolidate this lawsuit into one instead of having many, many separate lawsuits.
Okay. Well, you've got a lot of work ahead of you. I'm going to reach out to the township just to see if they have a statement. Just to be fair, we'll get both sides of the story on. And I'll also offer them the same airtime that you received today, next week, Thursday at this time, just to be fair. If people are listening and they want more information, Scott, how do they get a hold of you?
Sure. If they want to support the cause, they can go to wainfleetors.ca, and on there's a GoFundMe. If anybody has been affected by this, so if there's any landscapers or small businesses, restaurants, cleaners that basically have lost their revenues and their income from Wainfleet, we are forming a class action lawsuit against the city. That's in addition to the current lawsuit that's in place, and people can do both. If somebody's been affected in both ways, they can join both. So the existing lawsuit is for homeowners in Wainfleet who have been fined, and the other lawsuit will be class action. But all that can be found on wainfleetwars.ca. And yeah, I appreciate your time and your impartiality. And I actually hope we can hear from the township, because none of us can quite figure out what their motivation was in creating these bylaws. And nobody understands why they're not even, taking meetings with us and talking through this. I would hope there's still a way to de-escalate this, but it gets harder and harder because as we get deeper into the lawsuit, all this money that goes into the lawyers, and then all the lost revenues that everybody's incurred. And I've heard from several real estate agents in Wainfleet that the property values have actually dropped by over 30%, and nothing's moving in Wainfleet. But people can't sell because everybody's afraid of the township. And people shouldn't live in fear of their own government and their own township. It's just not a healthy environment for anybody.
Yeah. Are you still residing in the home?
Oh, yeah. No, we still live there. My youngest son's at Lakeshore Catholic High School in Port Colborne. Right now we're in Niagara Falls. He's at hockey practice at the Gale Center here in Niagara Falls. And you know what? We're still happy with the area. We love our view. We love the fact that stop signs, not stop lights. When you catch a ship in Port Colborne, you might have to wait a few minutes, but that's better than a traffic jam in Burlington or Toronto. That's for sure. So we love it here, and we really hope to resolve this with the city, because at the end of the day, we do want to retire here, and we're so happy we moved to this region. And I would encourage more people from this bigger cities to come out here. It's a great place to live.
Shh, don't tell everybody, Scott. Too many people are coming.
Okay.
Just look at the QEW now.
Yeah. You can't block me because I'm already here.
All right, Scott. It was nice talking to you, and we'll keep following this story.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. Scott Wilson is a concerned homeowner in Wainfleet. He's also the spokesperson for the Wainfleet Association of Responsible Short-Term Rentals.